We've seen how making all your calculations manual update instead of automatically update can help speed things up in Excel when you're dealing with large files that have lots of calculations. But another way of speeding up large files is to actually reduce their largeness to as small as physically possible. So we now need to explore the ways of reducing your file size. We're going to take this file from your working files, contacts large file with images. It's currently 34239 kilobytes. So back in Excel, if we open that file, contacts large file with images, open. And as we've already seen with this file, it will take a little while to open. Once it's open, I'm actually going to save it as a different name. So that in itself is going to be quite a slow process as well. Contacts large file with images underscore test. So then we can compare that with the original file size and see if what we've done has actually had any effect. Now, two big effects on file size is formatting and images. They really have massive effects in Excel. And what you'll see here in the Contacts A sheet is we've gone a little excessive on our formatting. We've formatted these cells that are actually not in use. And what someone's done really is they've highlighted the row and then carried out the formatting, which means not only have they formatted the cells that are in use, but they formatted all the cells all the way to the end, all the way to XFD. So if I come back, really we need to remove the formatting in those cells. And the easiest way to do that is actually to remove the columns from Excel. Obviously the columns don't disappear, but their contents do when we remove them. So how can we highlight lots of columns like that in one go? Well, Control and Spacebar will highlight the first of the columns, and then Control, Shift and End will highlight to the end of the document. So that's highlighted all the columns, and then we simply delete those columns, delete sheet columns. Now that could take a little while because there are a lot of columns there to remove and then replace with blank columns, which is what we're after. We could have just removed the formatting, but it's easier to physically remove the actual columns, because then you know that the formatting has gone as well as the contents. So that will have taken away any formatting of individual cells. The problem here with the yellow banding is that the instruction was given to the row and it retains that original instruction even though I've removed the columns. So with these whole columns selected, I also need to go to Clear and Formats to remove all the yellow banding. So these new columns should now all be default. So general formatting and whatever the formatting is for your Excel sheet. So if I save this file, it's still a large file, obviously, and go back to Windows Explorer. Test file is 300 kilobytes smaller, thanks to removing that formatting. It's slightly smaller. A big difference, however, will be made with the pictures. We have a picture here in the picture sheet, and we have the charts, which use graphics as well. Now, what I can do is if I go to Save As, I don't want to change the file name. What I do want to do is come down here to the Tools and Compress Pictures. Here I can choose to delete the cropped areas of pictures. So if there are any images within this whole document that I've cropped, it would remove the effectively invisible area, so it's not wasting memory space. And then I can reduce the actual size of my images from 220 pixels per inch, which is perfect for print, down to 150 ppi, which is good for screen, or down to 96 ppi, which is the smallest Excel can take things to for email sharing. I'm going to go down to the email option just to see what difference it makes to the whole file. OK, and then save. You'll be asked to replace the file, although it is the same file we've been working with. Save away. Once that's finished saving, let's close and check Windows Explorer. And we find that it hasn't actually made that much difference. So the image in there must have already been formatted quite low. So we've really only managed to shave off 300 kilobytes off our large file because of the content that's within there. But those are the methods to follow. You either or do remove all the extra formatting, so the cells that are formatted that don't need to be formatted. You could even remove the formatting from the cells you're using to help reduce the file size, and compress your images. Two major options for reducing the physical file size. By reducing the physical file size, you speed up the opening, the closing, and the saving process of that file within Excel. Other tip to bear in mind when you're dealing with large files is only have one open at a time. It's no good having one 33,000 kilobyte file open and then another 33,000 kilobyte file open and then another, because you'll seriously start to use up Excel's resources and slow everything down as you're working. So one large file open at a time. Try and minimize the size of that large file by reducing the formatting on unneeded cells, compressing your pictures, and then try and speed the calculations up by knocking those into manual mode so that you have to update them when you want them updating, because that will help speed up the use of that file as you're working on it.